Certainly solidified the position in the goal for Johns Hopkins.
Set for the face-off, the 15th Doyle Smith Cup now underway, and Virginia controlling it immediately on the run. Salah's shot just a little bit off the mark.
Well, Coach Billiman talked about possession time and being able to control the ball on offense, and so right away we can see that one of the things that Virginia does as well as any team in the country is ride.
Well, and it pays dividends. Here's UVA striking first, and it's just what you would expect. There's Schellenberger with his first of the day.
Well, it all starts with the ride and the pressure on the ground ball. It's so important when you're in a scramble situation to get the ball off the ground. Of course, the defense is not set. It gets to Matt Moore, and Connor Schellenberger have such a connection. You can see right there, Matt Moore's head is up. He's looking to the backside. Connor Schellenberger makes a nice move to pull the defense away, and really one-on-one with goalie Josh Kirkson. No chance for the goalie in a situation like that.
Ninth goal of the season.
Even though they are not in the same conference, it's one of those very special non-conference games.
Schellenberger's goal standing as the only one until this moment. Virginia gets another. The Who's with Xander Dixon able to find the back of the net. He becomes the second scorer for Virginia. It's 2-0 Who's.
Yeah, one thing Virginia has been able to show this year is balance on offense. And you have a freshman, Griffin Schutz from Trumbull, Connecticut, throwing to Xander Dixon. So for the second time, Virginia is able to get a goal to the players that are running in that first midfield.
First two belong to the Who's and the Goldsmith Cup contest. Dixon, those two, the goal scorers to this point for
Excellent
Virginia.
Check right there. Hopkins' defense has always been very good.
Well executed. Think about the toss that put it in Cormier's grasp, and he provides the finish.
Well, so much attention paid to Connor Schellenberger and Matt Moore. Sometimes Peyton Cormier gets overlooked, and he is one of the outstanding finishers in the country. 3 goals last week against Syracuse from Canada. His size and his soft hands, he really is able to convert in tight spaces. So again, you see Griffin Schutz with his second assist. Excellent vision, a good look inside, and just one of those kind of plays where only a good player off ball can make a cut like that. So again, Peyton Cormier gets most of his goals based on, he believes again that his offense is most dangerous when other players like Angeles McDermott, they're the players that he depends on to get goals.
Well, and Virginia will bring the fans to life with this takeaway, as Epstein only had it for an instant. And going the distance and providing the finish is Kessner, who makes it 4-0 UVA.
You talk about end-to-end with a defenseman making a takeaway check. Cole Kastner from California was an outstanding basketball player when he came to Virginia. Makes a big check on Epstein at in the defensive end and carries the ball all the way in. And we've seen the history of Coach Tiffany's teams that he wants his Poles to stay involved. And again, it was a situation where Hopkins had to make a decision whether to slide or not slide, and he came in and
members in the loan transfer out of the portal for Virginia on the entire roster, and he transferred from Johns Hopkins. And Virginia works it around until finally getting it at the face of the goal where Will Corey was waiting.
Yeah, two players right from Charlottesville. Connor Schellenberger from St. Anne's Belfield and Will Corey from the Episcopal School. Grew up playing lacrosse together. But you talk about Connor Schellenberger's unselfish play and his vision. He had a good look with an opportunity to take a shot, but instead he made the extra pass and made it pretty much one-on-one with Will Corey.
Inside 1 assist for Will Corey, and that number 5 in operation once again. Gives Virginia a 5-0 lead. It won't stay that way very long as the Who's now build it to 6-0 Virginia with a goal from Petey LaSala right off the faceoff.
Well, he wins the faceoff, and instead of maybe heading to the box and getting an offensive player on, as often happens, he stays on and he scores a goal off a cut. So instead of just kind of carrying and shooting, he stays in the play and he gets an assisted goal right there. You can see a nice scoop coming off the wing from Grayson Saladay, one of the co-captains.
Just what Hopkins staying with it. A little closer in terms of overall shots. You said it, though. They would like to increase that on-cage
Great
number. This
move
may
right
do it.
there.
In fact, it will. It's going to be the first goal of the day. Jealous able to get it in there.
Well, Jacob Analyst gave the classic face sides, completely left his defender behind. And again, sometimes when you step out to a shooter, if you play the stick and not the body, that's what's going to happen. And he just was able to go ahead and clear his hands. But again, give credit to Casey McDermott for setting him up. But you can see the move right there, and he's able to convert and give Hopkins their first goal. They beat Duke and Denver. So.
Yeah, it's a team that certainly wowed some folks around the country. You said it, the Carolina contest skews the numbers just a little bit.
Well, unfortunately for Hopkins, they ran into Chris Gray. I think and they have really settled down in the 6-on-6 and made Virginia have to work. And just as we talked about Connor Schellenberger, he's just able to power through all McManus. We saw some of those goals similar in the Final Four of the tournament. He just gets leverage coming around the goal, is able to get his shoulders turned. And, Hopkins had to make a decision, and they were not able to get to him in time on the slide. You can see that pretty much not much help for Owen McManus, and that's a tough matchup one-on-one. But, you can see he just is able just to power through, clear his hands, get above goal line, extend it, and finish. Recover.
Moore looking for some open space.
But he has the short stick, so expect him to go.
Moore will, in the end, feed Cormier, who has another goal to his credit. It makes it 8-1 Virginia.
Because of the switch with Matt Moore getting a short stick, the Hopkins defense has to react to the matchup. And of course, the one thing that defenses have to do when they slide is they have to come back to the crease. And Matt Moore able to see over the top, has Peyton Cormier wide open on the backside. And again, there's plenty of time and room. You can see the amount of space and time that he has to shoot.
Cormier led UVA in goals, 45, was in the top 3 in points, 43 in 2020. The help provided.
Excellent save.
How about the force with which that was delivered by Simmons. Stays with Virginia, and not to be denied. Dixon wraps around and lays it home.
Well, for a goalie, it's just, it's got to be frustrating. You make a big save, you're able to go ahead and get the ball in your crease, get ready to make an outlet pass, and then your pass gets intercepted literally on top of the crease. Your defense has all left you to set up for the clear, and you can see Xander Dixon just picks the ball off, within, a yard of the crease, and no
1,000 wins against just 357 losses and 15 draws along the way. And here's an answer out of the pause with 17 seconds remaining. Talk about answering the timeout call. Virginia will get to double digits in the opening half thanks to the way they handle this moment.
Well, as often happens coming out of timeouts, teams will sometimes come in to play a zone, trying to maybe slow the offensive down, take away some of the dodges. And so, Virginia obviously expecting the zone, put Connor Schellenberger in a position to shoot. And so Virginia gets the early look and scores their 10th goal of the half with 17 seconds still to play.
First half hat trick for Schellenberger as he is
able to gain the possession.
Yeah, if you were talking adjustments they wanted to make, those were there. But Cormier, he continues what has been a strong day as he now joins Schellenberger in the hat trick department. Look at Virginia up 11-2. Cormier continuing to impress.
Well, for a typical Virginia goal, it starts with the ball on the ground, winning the ground ball, swarming, a player being able to pick it up. Mitch Whalen's able to go ahead and secure it. Just a little quick shovel pass to Matt Moore, and the defense is unsettled. And there's just too many opportunities for Virginia. He's got 2 assists today, and again, his size is a real challenge for any short stick midfielder if he is able to get the short stick.
Well, look at the way that Schellenberger was tested there. It's a little consequence in the end, even though McManus is really giving him a hard time, and they surround Schellenberger and Cormier, both having outstanding days in the scoring department.
Well, the one thing about Canadian lacrosse players who come in, from the box is their hands are so quick, and they are able to catch balls in places around their body that may not be easy to handle. But again, Schellenberger with his eyes up, sees Cormier, and again, it's just a quick underhand to create in practice. All three of these players were on the same attack, and last year in championship weekend, so they know each other well and they look for each other.
Non-break. And this is going to be
Will Corey with his second goal of the game.
Another Virginia multi-goal scorer. This time around, it's Will Corey. You said it, Coach. Everybody a participant for UVA as they continue to extend this lead in the third quarter.
And Will Corey is one of the players, and you talked about, Coach Tiffany saying a player has emerged in on the Virginia offense. Certainly Will Corey with the second goal. And, he has worked his way in a situation where, as Coach Tiffany said, able to sweep the ball to his pole, and it's not able to go ahead, but then Hopkins is able to turn the Virginia turnover into a goal right there. A nice look, and again, because Hopkins, of course, having to play shorthanded with that Brendan Grimes, Garrett Degnan playing that left-handed shooter's wing converts from about 12 yards.
Yeah, Zolik with a head of steam on the way up the field. And Degnan with the finish as Hopkins has a third goal. Watch the transition work for Johns Hopkins after winning the ground ball.
And then Garrett Degnan is their leading midfield scorer, coming in with 8 goals. So it would certainly make sense that Coach Milliman and Coach Grant would make him.
Key contributors and scores, including Dixon, a multi-goal performance, and Corey, who's received that honor. Virginia is looking to add further, and they will. And there's more with a celebration moment. Remember, he's chasing the all-time lead in terms of scoring at Virginia. He entered today 35 points away from that, and he's able to break through, adds his name to the group, having contributed for Virginia in scoring today.
When I talked to Matt Moore this week, he said the one big change in his game is that he's been more of an off-ball player. He came in as a freshman of the ACC and as a midfielder. Converted last year in the championship game against Jared Bernhardt, held him to 1 goal and 2 assists. So he would be a big loss for any amount of time for Virginia as they're has made a change in the goal. They've gone to Jack Webb. Coach Milliman, again, he talked about the competition that they have at the goalie position, and Josh Kirkson has good as Jay, but just a tough situation to put a goalie in the course of the game, not the opportunity to get warmed up, and so the first shot goes by.
Hasn't mattered to Cormier, who's back there. He has notched a 5th goal and putting the test on the new keeper. Scored those 4 when Curson was in the contest, and now here's his latest and more defeater this time around to Schellenberger. And how about that trio and what they've done today?
And on the fast break, he made the extra pass, and Degnan had plenty of time to finish.
Virginia, quick answer, and the goals keep on coming from Cormier.
If you're an offense and you have someone who's that dependable that you can throw the ball to inside, whether he's covered or not, and can finish, Peyton Cormier will be the first one to tell you that he enjoys the lack of having to move really a lot. With his size and his body lean, he's able to go ahead and just create the space for himself.
This place was perfect. The finish just as true. Here it is again.
And the flow and the patience, the little stick fake, making the goalie make the first move on the shooter and finishing.
Cormier sneaks his 6th goal of the day by inside the final 10 seconds. And Virginia, with 1 second remaining, able to add another. UVA taking the closing 8 or 10 seconds of the third quarter, parlaying it into a couple of goals.
Well, Gabriel Braun, who is not really with a backup face-off man, because again, he's certainly capable. Recognizing, he faces off, probably thinking they're just going to have a face-off to end the quarter, and he wins it.
On today, we talk about the life of Punch Peterson. It's those individuals that have made these two schools what they are, have made this sport special. And here is another moment for who else but Keogh's had quite a day for Hopkins, and he puts the 5th goal in the back of the cage.
Well, he has really been the outstanding player on offense for Hopkins, one because of the fact that he's been able to put his shots, on the cage, which has, been something a little bit that's frustrated Hopkins. And now you see David Roselli in the goal for Virginia. So, both teams have made goalie changes. Jack Webb for Hopkins score goals in bunches. So, maybe a quiet day, but also a very efficient day.
And at point-blank range, able to lay in a goal to go along with the rest. There's the first. We talked about Epstein picking up just a little bit earlier after being quieted earlier. There's the first for D. Simone. He's now involved.
Well, and we talked about, you know, how the matchups would change, and if you're Coach Tiffany, you know, you're not going to be satisfied if, you know, if your defense starts to play with less energy, and you know, you still got some, you know, some of your top players in on defense. And so the one thing you don't want is you don't want the game to deteriorate. You know, these players want to be seen as their conference schedule, and then the ACC, which does not have a conference tournament, whereas the Big Ten will go back to having a conference tournament.
At the save for Hopkins at arm's length all day. Virginia led 4-0 after the first and 10-1 at the intermission. And looking for more as we speak to add to the 17-6 lead, and there is more. Virginia able to get Quinn involved, and in doing so will have an advantage of 18-6 down the stretch of the fourth. Scores on the even 9-minute mark. This Quinn.
Peyton Cormier can get the points he gets. And a nice goal for Peter Garneau, who had some big goals in the Final Four last year. He comes from great stock and has been an outstanding shooter, and he gets a goal as well. So, you know, I would like to, you know, give credit to Josh Kirkson, you know, because his stats may not show the effort that he made and the number of outstanding saves that he had today, and as coach. And I know when Hopkins won it, the years they won it, they were very excited as well.
And Hardware trending towards staying with the Hoos, though Hopkins continues to fight. And another goal pieced together. Here's Jack Hawley, one of the seniors out of the Empire State, receiving congratulations from his teammates.
And true to form, we, you know, the excellent support from Hopkins. You know, I don't think there's a team that travels that more than Hopkins has in their history, and don't realize just how important Hopkins has been to the sport. I mean, you know, they are the barometer. They are the measuring stick. And in their heyday, no one could beat them.
That's the reason they found themselves the first to 1,000 victories along the way. And here is Cramp, who's able to find an 8th goal for Hopkins. As we close in on the final couple of minutes here, congratulations in order for him. He joins the scoring on the day. For a Hopkins team, again, under a second-year head coach, beginning to get themselves established to 98. Can Virginia make 19, 21, and 22 the same type feat? This is another step in that direction as UVA defeats Johns Hopkins, retains possession of the Doyle Smith Cup with a 19-8 victory over their rivals here today.
Well, it really has been a day to celebrate Doyle Smith, and you know, these games will move on to the next opponent, but it will be nice to have these two teams stand and hear the story of Doyle Smith and why there is a Doyle Smith Cup.
Virginia claims it behind 48 shots on the day.